What's good, Scorpio? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you had a great week so far. So what I'm going to be doing is a tarot card reading for the week of October 9th through the 15th. For all of you who are new, which is all of you at the moment, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest. Never force anything from a reading, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this. I've cleansed your space. All the friends are here. It's gonna be a wild old party. I'm gonna pull 15 cards for you. They're gonna be 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to be the nature of your problem. The upper left and right hand quarters are going to be some future options. The bottom left is going to be where your mindset's at, and maybe some perspectives to consider when dealing with this issue. And then the bottom right is going to be how your higher self is playing behind the scenes. So that being said, let's give this a few more shuffles. Let's see what the higher self has in store for Scorpio this week. What should they be mindful of? And if you're curious, I'm using the Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. If you like which I don't see why you wouldn't. The art on here is really cool. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it as much as I enjoy using it. So let's give this one more good little mix here, and then we'll jump right into it, Scorpio. I'm feeling one more. Something's telling me one more. All right. Let's go ahead and pull these and see what we got. Oh, alrighty. We're going in, I see. Okay. Alright, I like when this is pretty cool, Scorpio. Okay. Darkness, let's set this over here. Alrighty. Let's get these looking pretty. Thank you, higher self. Alright, Scorpio. So, for the nature of your problem, you have the Knight of Wands here. And the cards that are partnered with that are the 3 of Wands and the, sorry for that glare, the 9 of Disc. So what I'm getting here this week is, I feel like Spirit wants you to be mindful of how you expend your energy. With the Knight of Wands, he's a double-edged sword. I feel like that's going to be like one of the catchphrases. He's a double-edged sword. He has that drive, that ambition. He's very sure of himself. He set everything on fire, and he's going to give it his all. Like this is like your all in, all or nothing. He's going in hot, which is great. The problem with that, the potential problem with that is, if your energy is not being channeled correctly, then you've just spent all that, and then he's burnt out. Then he has nothing left to give, and then now you have to take all this time to kind of get back to where you should be. And I think that goes well with this three of Wands here, and this is about establishing strength, success after struggle, kind of pride and arrogance. I think this is kind of saying, find out what is virtuous to you. What do you see? What does success look like to you? How do you come in? How do you come in as an example, as opposed to just kind of burning out? I feel like a lot of people kind of come in hot. Like, I feel like this is like a one-hit wonder card. Sometimes. If it's going with no direction, and I think that this is your week is how to use your energies responsibly, because you have, I think with where you're channeling this, depending on where you're going, you have this 9 of Disc here, And the Nine of Disc is about gaining, this is about wealth, um, and success and abundance. This disc have to do with, can do with business matters as well. So this could be maybe a business venture that you're looking at. But either way, there's a lot of big energy here, and I think this is calling you to, it's good. I'm not, I would never, I wouldn't tell anybody that it's bad, that you're feeling this, you're feeling hot and passionate about something. But I will say, one of the big things that I'm trying to preach, or not preach, but what I'm trying to emphasize here is mindfulness when it comes to, especially when it comes to how you're going about this, because with this, this is good fortune, but I feel like it's only going to be good fortune doesn't just fall in your lap. It's how you're using your energy, and I think that's honestly that's pretty appropriate. We're going to move over. We're going to start. I feel like maybe I'm just going to start working left to right because that seems to be where the trend has been, at least so far. I feel like on the left hand side here, let's get these cards pulled up for as far as your future goes, because this is a pretty, I feel like this, as far as the nature of your problem, this is pretty straightforward. I'm not getting anything really complex, but whatever it is, some of you, I feel like you're gearing up for something. You got your eye on the prize, and I feel like this is the time to really, sometimes with this, let me put these down for a second. Sometimes with this Three of Wands too, this is the last I guess I am gonna spend a little more time on it. With the Three of Wands, I feel like this is like, sometimes you get to people where you do kind of have this big energy, but maybe it might be like a really big idea, but you might not be getting like the support you need. And the Three of Wands too can signify, and this is just like my little pocket of hope for you, because this could be a realization of hope too, that despite people saying like, oh, this is foolish, you're really gonna bet all of this on something. Well, you know what, if your intentions are pure and your heart's in the right place, absolutely, I say go for it. But I think it's just being mindful of, because most of the time with the knights, they signify which they usually signify the coming or going of an energy, but being that it is the nature of your problem, it's just like, whoa, I can see where it's like, well, where the hell am I going? Where are we going, Justin? And the question is, go where your heart feels right. This is something where you use your heart. This is, you got Venus in Virgo, Sun in Aries. Take this energy, and I'm saying just run with it, but make sure your heart's in the right place. And that's, promise, that's all I'm going to say on that. And I think that's perfect that it leads into this lack of direction. I feel like this ties well with you got the Prince of Swords here on the left-hand side. You have the Queen of, that wasn't how they came out. Prince of Swords, Lust card, and Queen of Swords. Maybe that is how they came out. Yes, it is. So, flop it. But either way, with the Prince of Swords here, the Prince of Swords gives me, the Prince of Swords is very smart. This is any kind of sword, and the princess and the queen. You got Prince and the Queen of Swords here. The princess to me, at least the Prince of Swords, he is kind of like, he's got this intelligent. He's very intelligent, very cunning, maybe a little domineering. But the point with this thing is that sometimes he doesn't. It's like unguided intelligence, if you will. I hope that makes sense. You have this main guy here. He's got this sword. The sword's not too. I think it only looks domineering to how, just because he's got these reins and he's holding on to these pharaohs, but he's not really holding on to them. They are. I feel like they're pretty loose. He's got his sword in one hand, which is supposed to be like creation, and then he's got this sickle in this other hand, which is meant to destroy. So I feel like this is, and the fairies are just gonna they're just kind of running with it. Like, no one really knows what's going on. I feel like this is like a too many cooks in the kitchen type of card. And I think that it's because it's in, I say that it could be a person, but I feel like, yeah, this is just like misguided intelligence, or just like lost intelligence. That's what I get with the Prince of Swords here, but I don't feel like that's going to last long. Because he is smart, and at some point he will get it. It's, that's part of the journey. Sometimes we get off track. We're kind of and not even off track. It's sort of like sometimes, some people like to go straight to it. Some people like the Knight of Wands and just go straight for it. Others kind of, we sort of Prince of Swords it. We're kind of, we're seeing the surroundings. We're trying to feel it out. But I think that's going to change, because you got this, got the Queen of Swords here. And the Queen of Swords is about, like, she's about clarity. They refer to her as the liberator of the head. And I know she's got a head in there, but think of this as a metaphorical head, if you will. Where is the head? Think of this as a metaphorical head. She's the type, like, get out of your head. She's another one. The swords are, the swords can be a little tricky, at least in the court cards. She's sitting on these. She represents the watery part of air, and she's sitting on these. These are supposed to represent storm clouds over here, and she's made a whole throne out of them. So it's like she sees the storm for what it is, but I feel like also too is one of those. If you stay too lost in that Prince of Swords, she can come across as. Yeah, she's intelligent and all that, but she can come across as cruel as well. This could become like a literal head as opposed to metaphorical. I feel like this is telling you to kind of get out of your head. Like it's like, the Prince of Swords. I feel like he'll start up a project and then move on to a different one, and maybe move on to a different one. Have all these things up in the air, but not really doing anything with it. It's just like it's really. For being the airy part of air, the energy is very stagnant, which I guess, you know what, that kind of makes sense with, let me take that back. That really kind of makes sense with him being the airy part of air, because there's no direction. You can try to trap air, but it's going to get out some way or another. And I think that this is you coming to your clarity, and this is you gaining clarity, I feel, with this. And that's where your strength's going to be. That's where and then we can celebrate. Because the Lust card here, it can, this represents like courage, and like, this is like control of your life force. It could be a love affair as well. Like when I say a love affair, this is like the love affair. But to me, this is you figuring out how to use your King of Swords, or excuse me, Knight of Wands responsibly. The Lust card, I feel like it's showing you here that you are, with the, you can take on these, I'm not sure what's kind of got you, at least in this instance with some of you, where this kind of got you in this sort of like loss, not sure where to direct your energy. I do feel like there's a clarity coming with this Queen of Swords. And then when you do, you're going to find your courage, you're going to find your power, you'll be able to harness that life, all that energy that's been bottled up, and you're going to be able to release that into the world and create this new domain that you're trying to work on. So hopefully that makes sense on that. On another end, on the right-hand side here, for some of you, I have the Hierophant, the Four of Swords, and the Aeon card. Now, with the Hierophant, this could be a number of things here. The Hierophant represents divine wisdom, perseverance. Perseverance is another good P word. Patience. And he also could represent maybe a teacher. So maybe this is someone, maybe you're trying to pick up, maybe you're learning a new skill. Maybe this is something that you really started to, you find yourself really excited about something, and you might be looking to find a teacher. But I think either way, it's whatever that Knight of Wands is. I think for those of you who might be kind of in this like this right hand side phase, I feel like this is calling upon you to be. I'm getting more of a calling upon patience. I feel like with this one, this is coming to I feel like this is you taking a step to acquire some, to take your time, to really acquire that wisdom, and to make sure you know what you're talking about, and that you have I think there's such thing as being over prepared. At some point, you just got to take it and go and see what happens. But we can be wise about it. I don't think we necessarily need to go as slow as the Hierophant because I think he moves only every 2,000 years, so maybe a little bit faster than that. But regardless, you're going to come to. I think you're going to come to the truce. Come to a to where this situation was. Again, this mic. I gotta find a better place for this mic. With the Four of Swords, this is kind of like a victory after some trying times. You finding balance. This is one of Libra's cards. So, with this swords, I feel like whatever's been kind of plaguing your mind, this Prince of Swords energy, again, this kind of doubles down. Really, not doubles down. Very similar to the left hand reading, in the sense that the Four Swords, like rest after sorrow, peace after hard times, recovery. It's a change card, but this is you coming to terms with something, and I think once you do, that's going to lead to this Aeon card. It leads to a close. There's this closure, and not to say like it's gonna close and that's it. When one door closes, another one is opening. So I feel like whatever this chapter is right now, once you, for some of you, depending on how you're channeling this energy, I feel like this is going to get you to whatever your end game looks like, whatever this 9 of disc is looking like for you at the end. I think that's where, at least on this side, this feels like a little bit of a I don't want to say the pace is even. I only say the pace is slower just because of the Hierophant, but I do think regardless, there's abundance coming from me. I think there's this realization that's coming. One is depending on. I feel like it depends on the degree that you're in, because I do feel like one is a little more kind of lost than the other, but I do feel like with patience and stuff, it is gonna work out just fine. With where your head's at. You have, let's grab these cards here. You have the Queen of Disc, you have the 5 of Disc, and you have the Universe. So, with this Queen of Disc, I feel like for some of you, where your head is at, you might be embarking on, you might be trying to figure, I don't know what to say, I'm getting like embarking on a project, but I feel like for some of you, this is you're looking at this project and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with this land. The Queen of Land. The Queen of Disc is the Queen of the land. She is she's looking out at this, and it's interesting that it's partnered with the 5 of Disc. I feel like maybe with this new project there might be some worries, some anxiety. This could be, this you might be investing a lot into this, and you, with any sort of like investment, of course you're going to be worried. You want to get your returns back. Like, I don't want to put in 5 of Discs to not get this 9 of Wands. I feel like if you're bringing it, like it's gonna, like I want this. So, but I feel like the Queen of Disc doesn't really. She's not concerned. Is what I'm trying to get at. I think it's good to be mindful of these. I don't think these problems should ever really be ignored, but face them for, call them for what it is. It's like, what are you nervous about? Is it the nerves? Like, because most of it is just like, if you're worried about failure, you can't worry about that type of stuff. I mean, well, you can, but it's just going to, do you really want to take the long way? I mean, if you're a fan of the long way, I'll be right there with you. But I do feel like with the Queen of Disc, she's not concerned about that with what's going on. She's looking at this as an opportunity. This land is. She's not overwhelmed by how much land she has. If she is overwhelmed, she's just like, my goodness, how am I going to share all of this? Like, I have so much abundance. What the hell do I do? And I think once you kind of come to that leads you to the Universe. And the Universe it's like those, it's another kind of completion card. It's a perseverance, it's like Queen of Swords type thinking, but this is big picture thinking now. You are, you're asking these, it's become less of a, well, what if I fail, what about blah blah blah. No, this is okay, well, sure, what if I fail, but also, what if this succeeds? How am I going to sustain this? How do I, a universe has been presented to me. What do I do with this? How do I make this work for me? And I think, and I feel like your head's in the right place, because this is where you should be thinking. I think these little things can weigh down on this big picture if you let them. They can become way bigger than they need to be. And so I just say with that universe, yeah, just kind of keep in mind of, it's really that mindset. It's just like, look at, no, don't, when you go to approach something, really the shift of a mindset does magic. If you look at it as like, let's say if you're going to wake up, it's just like, oh, I have to go to work. Maybe doing something to shift that, like, or that's not my point. My point is just like, if you're getting out of bed and it's just like, oh, this is another day. That's not how the Queen of Discs gets up. She gets up thinking, all right, I slept well. How am I going to tackle this day today? How am I going to make this mine? She's going out to seize the day. That's all that's on her agenda. So hopefully that resonates with you. And I feel like that's not a bad headspace to be. I feel like anxiety is a normal, it's a normal thing to feel. But when you realize that it's just being absent from the present, those anxiety, that fear, it goes away. So just stick with, give it a little time, give it a little patience. Everything's going to become like crystal clear before you even know it. Oh, and if you see my hands, I'll just hover my hand over the universe. Everything's gonna be crystal clear. But I feel like, in the meantime, until then, don't worry about when it's going to be crystal clear. Worried about this field. That's what's calling up what's where your attention is being called to. Right now it's time to take that King of Wands energy and make that field. Let's sow some seeds. And for how I like this. This is awesome. This is awesome, Scorpio. How your higher self's really got your back here. With where your higher self is at, it's like, yo, I'm gonna throw some Six of Disc at you. I'm gonna throw Fortune at you, and I'm gonna throw Six of Wands at you. This is almost too easy, Scorpio. I don't even gotta read this. Six of Disc is about success. This is you getting your gain, your this is you getting your nine of disc. You have a lot of earth energy here. Some of you might be I'm getting Taurus vibes. Some of you might have Taurus in your chart, but I feel like you're becoming I feel like you're getting ready to get to your success. You're becoming if it's something with money, I feel like you're being responsible. It's something you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. And I feel like it's going to be the fortune that's coming in is good. This is but it is something too. I don't know if you can see them on here, but I'd like to mention, because I think it's really easy to just be like, all right, well, good fortune. All right, good fortune. I don't need to spend any time there. With the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like something is presented to you. It's like, this is not, you have the wheel. What are you going to do with it? Are you just going to let it sit pretty, or are you going to turn it? There are these hands on here. And they determine, I think this universe is kind of like telling you, where do you want your fate to go? You are in control of this. You're operating this vessel. So go get your fortune. It's not just going to come to you. It is going to require work. And when you get to there, you got to claim it. You got to spin that wheel, man, because it's otherwise what? We're Prince of Swordsing. We don't stop that. We don't want to. The Prince of Swords sits on a fortune. The Queen of Swords, she makes a throne out of her fortune. She bought the clouds with her fortune, and that's what we want. well, really, what we want is a lust card because she's got herself a set. She's got herself a whole universe. That's really endgame. That's Bay. But and I do think, and just to add more. If you didn't have enough icing on your cake, here's some strawberries. I might even throw some sprinkles. We got victory here. This is love. This is again, this is just the Six of Wands is really just a really good fortune card. This is, I feel like you're getting ready to get to a place where you're just swimming in abundance, and your energy's balanced. I feel like the Six of Wands is about also about kind of like balanced energy. Triumph after strife, gain and success. This is good stuff here, Scorpio. I feel like you are in great hands. I mean, we're all in great hands, but I feel like really this week the universe is like, all right, I feel like you might need a little extra loving. I got you. So, let's go. It's like, oh, I just realized you don't see my face anymore. Hey. So that is what I kind of what I have for you, Scorpio. I really like that reading. I hope something resonated with you. Please like, share, subscribe. I do update channel. I should probably start mentioning that to people. I update every Sunday. So, yeah, be sure to stick around for that. And what I'm doing towards the end of the segment, I want to get your reading out of the way. So if you got other things to do, feel free to have at it. And make sure I covered everything. I'll tell you that later. But what we're going to do now is what I like to call Weekly Celestial News. I'm still playing around with that title. Either Celestial Weekly News or Weekly Celestial News. I'm still working on that. It's going to have a news anchor voice too, so brace yourself. We're going to have fun with it. But a couple things to just be mindful of going into your week. Yesterday, Pluto went direct. So that's a good time to kind of bring some truths to light. If you've had anything, and Scorpios get a bad rep. They're looked at as like really secretive and all these things. And it's like, honestly, and I've not personally met a Scorpio, but I'm also a water sign, and I would love to. I feel like if anyone, I'm going to entrust Scorpio with my secrets. So this might be a time, find your Scorpio friends, kind of lay it all out there. Maybe you find your Scorpio friend. Maybe, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm daydreaming. I got caught up in Neptune retrograde there for a second. On the 9th today is the full moon in Aries, so if you had any projects that you were looking to start up or anything, now's the time to do it. If you're going to Knight of Wands, I feel like I did this for, who was it? Leo, too. I think I Knight of Wands them. It's like if you got any project that you're going to try to do them. Aries, full moon in Aries. Aries is about they start off the zodiac. They're the initiators. But that being said, just be mindful. Be mindful always. And then finally, or at least in before we get to retrogrades, tomorrow on the 10th of October is going to be Mercury moves into Libra. And that's a great time. It's not going to be there till later Monday that evening. It's like about 5:10 to 8, I think, is when it's supposed to be over there. 8 p.m. So it'll still be kind of a Monday, but if anything happens Monday, you'll be able to fix it on Tuesday because Mercury will be kind of comfortably in Libra by then. In that time, the conversation, Mercury is about communication and all that. So it's going to be balanced. I feel like this is a good time to kind of, any kind of arguments or whatever you might have, you fix those, or if you had something that didn't just quite leave right, this is a good time to address that. Communication it's solid right now. We just got out of a Mercury retrograde, so take it while you can, because it's I'm not even gonna give it the satisfaction. We're not even gonna address. We're not looking at you right now. We're not worried about the future. We're not gonna worry. We got Queen of Discs things to do. Last thing, and then I'll get you out of here. Retrogrades. Jupiter is still in retrograde right now until the 23rd of November. Pardon me, I had to take a little quick peek at my notes. Jupiter represents... Oh, and we're kicking the computer. Okay. Jupiter rules over Sagittarius and Pisces, which is the ninth and 12th house. And that has to do with like matters of spirituality and philosophy, so this is a good time to really kind of do some real soul searching, really. Oh, I'm just gonna look at that. I love how I can use your cards while I'm talking about this stuff. I think this is a time to to acquire some divine wisdom, to really kind of get and really, I say divine wisdom, get in touch with yourself. See, picture what your higher self looks like. I feel like that's it's one thing, when people think about, like, when they ask about like role models, it's like, oh, who do you want to be? And it's like, there's people that I want to emulate, but who I'm aspiring to be is my higher self. And I feel like that's where Jupiter kind of gives you that time to that it gives you that space to think introspectively and get to where you need to be. Saturn is in retrograde until towards the end of this month, October 22nd, and this is kind of a time. Well, let me say, Saturn rules over Capricorn and Aquarius, and that's the 10th and 11th house, and it represents like time, karma, responsibilities, and wisdom, roughly, depending on who you ask. But those are usually the gist of what Mars kind of covers. And during the retrograde time, it's like things kind of slow down a little bit, and it's like a period of reevaluation. You can kind of figure out whether it be through life or karma. This is a good time to kind of really deal with, to make sure that you're keeping, that everything is, again, your virtue, your heart's in the right place, before it gets out of retrograde, and then it's like speeds back up again. I feel like Saturn is kind of like that. It's like when your parents go out for the weekend, they're like, don't throw a party, don't do all this stuff. And then as soon as they leave, you have a big old party. And then they're like, hey, we're going to be gone a little longer than you thought. And you're like, yay. And then middle of the weekend, they're like, oh, actually, we're back. And what the hell? And that's Saturn, pretty much. So this is the time before the parents get back. Let's get our shit together. Uranus is retrograding until, well, I know what it rules. It rules Aquarius. Just offhand, I know it rules Aquarius. It's in the 11th house. It ends on, it's going to be in retrograde until next year, which is not a bad thing, because in retrograde, I feel like with retrogrades, this is a time of introspection during retrogrades. I feel like it shouldn't be seen as this scary time. It might be scary if you have like a lot to unpack, but even then, just take it in chunks, But with Uranus, it's like, I like to picture Uranus as the type. Uranus will come in. Let's say you're having a dinner with your family, and Uranus is the type that's like, I don't like this arrangement, and flips the table over, and everyone's just like, whoa, and. Because I don't think I told you what it responsible for. It's responsible for like surprises, innovation, liberation, revolution. Uranus is a wild card, and it's this is that time to during retrograde, it's kind of taking a step back. It's like, all right, I'm done like ripping your curtains and flipping your couch and all this stuff. Like, it's, instead of flipping the table now, it's like it's pulling the tablecloth, and it's giving you a little time to kind of like, oh, let me rearrange my table a little bit. Now I see what's happening, as opposed to just like that shocker. So I think this gives you a time to change voluntarily. And you, being Scorpio, one of the card that represents you is the Death card, which is transformation. So I feel like this is a good time for some voluntary change. And then lastly, you have Pluto, which is going to, Pluto went direct yesterday. Lastly, we have Neptune, which is going to be in retrograde until the 3rd. In retrograde, Neptune is responsible for like imaginations, dream-like states, astral realms, things of that nature. Rules over Pisces in the 12th house. And this is kind of a time to help us deal with maybe the illusions that we've been telling ourselves. It's but it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it like Uranus does. Neptune is very, I feel like, nurturing in how it does it. You know, it's very subtle. It's in retrograde like 40% of the year. So it's not going to be like a they're not just going to lift the veil and it's just like everyone. Oh, never mind. Yeah, they're not gonna lift the veil or anything. Sorry, in another reading, I had so many people, and everyone was at least topless. So, but that's not the case here. Everyone brought their clothes here. Um, but yeah, it's that time to see. I was under an illusion, Neptune. Um, but it's yeah, this is that time to kind of face the illusions that we tell ourselves. It kind of helps kind of bring that to the surface and gently, just sort of like, this isn't a thing. This anxiety, that ain't no thing. So yeah, that's what I have for you. And if you've stuck through to me this long, I'm gonna get you out of here. Ooh, nice. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is, taking that energy and just go. This has always been the card. Like if I remember when I was even making a decision about something, I was just like, is this a wise decision? Like what am I actually doing? Like should I what do you think, universe? And it was like Ace of Wands. That's what I think. It's like, okay, this is just taking, trusting in your heart and just taking that energy and just going with it. Yeah, I like the Ace of Wands. It gives me you had a lot of big energy here, Scorpio. So I feel like this is go do some great things with it this week. So I really hope that you got something from this. Again, like, share, and subscribe. And until next week, go tear 'em. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Go tear 'em up, Scorpio. Woo!